Hi everyone! Welcome back to Project Accounting. So for today's episode, we will talk about the fundamentals of assurance engagements. So at the end of this lecture, you will be able to define assurance engagements, identify the relationship of assurance, attestation, and audit, and differentiate the types of assurance engagements. Madaming companies ang nag-engage sa mga CPA to perform various engagements, either for statutory audit purposes or mag-comply sa mga requirements of various regulators or even for financing purposes. So, itong mga engagement na to, it can be categorized into two, either assurance or non-assurance engagement. So, in this episode, we will discuss first yung mga assurance engagements. So, let's define yung mga terminologies na gagamitin natin. First is yung assurance engagement. Assurance engagement is an engagement in which a practitioner expresses a conclusion designed to enhance the degree of confidence of the intended users, other than the responsible party about the outcome of the evaluation or measurement of a subject matter against criteria. In other words, yung mga assurance engagements ay kung saan nagbibigay ng conclusion si practitioner para magkaroon ng kasiguraduhan or degree of confidence yung mga intended users about dun sa kalalabasan ng mga information na nakuha against sa isang standard or benchmark. So kapag gagawin na ni practitioner itong assurance engagement sa pamamagitan ng pag-issue ng written communication, tatawagin na siyang assurance services. Then, ano naman yung assurance? Assurance means the practitioner's satisfaction as to the reliability of an assertion being made by one party for use by another party. So magbigay tayo ng real-life example. For example, sasali ka sa sports team. So bago ka makasali, dapat mapatunayan mong healthy ka. So para mapatunayan mong healthy ka, pumunta ka sa doktor para mag-physical exam. So yung doktor, yung independent professional or practitioner na magko-conduct ng physical exam para magkaroon ng assurance na ikaw ay healthy. Si doktor, bago siya mag-conclude na ikaw ay healthy, i-compare niya muna yung results to standards or criteria na acceptable para sa edad mo. And then, pagkatapos ng physical exam, yung doktor ay magbibigay ng written documentation na okay ka na maglaro sa sports team. So yung service na binigay ng doktor improves the integrity of your claim na ikaw ay good condition para sumali sa sports team. So nalaman na natin kung ano yung assurance engagement. Kaso meron ding mga terms such as audit and attestation at minsan these terms are used interchangeably. They are similar in a way that all represent a common process of an independent accounting firm taking information prepared by someone else and compare this information to an established set of criteria. Pero actually, these terms are different from each other based sa kanilang scope ng kanilang services. So alamin natin ano ang pinagkaiba-iba nila. First is yung audit. Audit is a service by an independent CPA that provide financial statement users with first, an opinion on whether the financial statements are presented fairly in all material respects in accordance with an applicable financial reporting framework, and in some cases, two, an opinion on the effectiveness of internal control on financial reporting, which enhance the degree of confidence that intended users can place in the financial statements. So in other words, yung audit, specific lang siya na nagbibigay ng opinion na yung FS ay presented in accordance with the applicable financial reporting framework at opinion sa effectiveness of internal controls. May mga companies naman na nagpo-produce ng financial information that goes beyond the historical financial statements gaya ng financial forecast and detailed schedules for specific accounts. So kapag yung practitioner will report on the integrity of this type of financial information, it is called attestation service. Attestation services are performed when an independent practitioner or CPA is engaged to issue a report on subject matter that is the responsibility of another party. So as you can see sa definition, Ginamit yung practitioner rather than auditor because attestation services encompass more than just the audit of historical financial statements and internal controls. Siyempre, last but not the least is yung assurance. So basically, assurance services na cover niya yung mga service that a practitioner provides na makakapag-improve sa quality of information na pinipare ng ibang party. Both attestation and audit services fall under the broad term of assurance services. Assurance services basically improve the quality of information for decision making. Kaya naman, independence is required whenever a professional accountant performs assurance services. Next question naman is para saan ba itong assurance engagements? According to the Philippine Framework for Assurance Engagements, an assurance engagement is conducted to provide a high level of assurance that the subject matter conforms in all material respects with identified suitable criteria, or to provide a moderate level of assurance that the subject matter is plausible in the circumstances. So in other words, yung objective ng assurance engagement is to provide either a high level or moderate level of assurance na dapat yung subject matter ay magko-comply sa suitable criteria. So based sa objective ng assurance engagements, there are two types of assurance engagement. It can either be reasonable or limited. So let's differentiate these two types of assurance engagements. So simulan natin sa pag-differentiate based on their objectives. Ang objective ng reasonable assurance ay reduction in assurance engagement risk to an acceptably low level as the basis for a positive form of expression of the practitioner's conclusion. Yung limited assurance naman, yung objective niya is to reduce the assurance engagement risk to an acceptable level as the basis for a negative form of expression of the practitioner's conclusion. Ano ba tong assurance engagement risk? Assurance engagement risk is a risk that a practitioner expresses an inappropriate conclusion when the subject matter information is materially misstated. So in other words, assurance engagement risk is a risk na baka mali yung maibigay na conclusion ni practitioner kasi misstated yung subject matter information. So kapag reasonable assurance, high level yung assurance na may bibigay niya na marereduce niya yung assurance engagement risk. While yung limited assurance, moderate lang yung level ng assurance. Take note na absolute assurance is not attainable dahil sa mga factors such as use of judgment, use of testing, inherent limitations of internal control. Yung mga evidence available to the practitioner is persuasive rather than conclusive, and in some cases, the characteristics of the subject matter. So based din dito sa objective, makikita natin na ang report na makukuha natin sa reasonable assurance ay positive, while sa limited assurance naman ay negative. So let's give an example. So sa reasonable assurance, kapag positive, ganito yung conclusion niya. In our opinion, internal control is effective in all material respects based on XYZ criteria. Sa limited assurance naman, based on our work described in this report, nothing has come to our attention that causes us to believe that internal control is not effective in all material respects based on XYZ criteria. For assurance engagements regarding historical financial information in particular, reasonable assurance engagements are called audit engagements, while sa limited assurance naman ang tawag ay review engagements. Meron namang types of assurance engagement based sa structure. It's either assertion or attestation based or direct reporting. So let's differentiate naman itong dalawa. Pag assertion-based, the evaluation or measurement of the subject matter is performed by the responsible party, and the subject matter information is in the form of an assertion by the responsible party that is made available to the interested users. Pag direct reporting naman, the practitioner either directly performs the evaluation or measurement of the subject matter or obtains a representation from the responsible party that has performed the evaluation or measurement that is not available to the intended users. So based sa definition, ang pagkakaiba nila lies kung sino ang magpe-perform ng evaluation or measurement. Sa assertion-based, it is the responsible party while sa direct reporting si practitioner. So magbigay tayo ng example wordings kapag nagko-conclude sa isang assertion-based at direct reporting. Kapag assertion-based, in our opinion, the responsible party's assertion that internal control is effective in all material respects based on XYZ criteria is fairly stated. Kapag direct reporting naman, in our opinion, internal control is effective in all material respects based on XYZ criteria. So based sa example, nawala yung responsible party's assertion at sa halip, direct na sinabi na yung internal control ay effective. Examples of assurance engagements include audit of financial statements, reporting on compliance with laws and rules and regulations, examination of prospective financial statements, and other assurance services. So bukod dun sa audit and review of financial statements, meron pang ibang other assurance services such as business performance measurement, which provides assurance about whether financial and non-financial information being reported from entity's performance measurement system or yung balance scorecard is reliable. Healthcare performance measurement, which evaluates the quality of healthcare, medical services, and outcome. Elder Care Plus, which evaluates the design to provide assurance to elderly and their relatives about quality of care being provided. Risk Assessment Services, which identifies set of risks that affect organization. CPA Web Trust, which enables consumers and businesses to purchase goods and services over internet with confidence, and Information System Reliability, which involves evaluating whether financial and non-financial information systems provide reliable information. To summarize what we have learned today, practitioners may be engaged into assurance and non-assurance engagements. Assurance engagement is an engagement in which yung practitioner mag-express ng conclusion para ma-enhance yung confidence ng intended user sa outcome ng evaluation ng subject matter against criteria. Then kapag magbibigay na ng written communication si practitioner, ang tawag na dito ay assurance services. Assurance is the practitioner's satisfaction sa reliability ng assertion na ginawa ng one party na gagamitin ng isa pang party. Assurance, attestation, and auditing ay pare-pareho lang ang meaning, pero nagkaiba-iba lang sila sa scope ng kanilang service. Kapag audit, these are services by CPA na magpo-provide sa users of financial statements with opinion na nagko-comply yung presentation ng FS sa applicable financial reporting framework at opinion sa effectiveness ng internal control. Then kapag attestation naman, bayan na siya sa historical financial information. There are types of assurance engagement based on objective, which is reasonable and limited. Reasonable siya kapag yung engagement will provide high but not absolute level of assurance na marereduce niya yung assurance engagement risk to a low level in a form of positive conclusion. Limited naman yung assurance kapag moderate lang yung assurance na marereduce niya yung assurance engagement risk to a low level tapos yung conclusion is in a negative form. Assurance engagement risk is a risk na mali ang conclusion na ibibigay niya kasi misstated yung subject matter information. Meron din type ng assurance engagement based sa structure, which is assertion or attestation based and direct reporting. Kapag assertion-based, yung evaluation ng subject matter is performed by responsible party. Kapag direct reporting naman, yung practitioner yung magpa-perform ng evaluation. Sa ating next episode, malalaman natin kung ano-ano ba ang mga elements ng assurance engagement. So if you like this video or if this video helped you, please give a thumbs up and subscribe for more episodes. Thank you!